All right, welcome guys. By profession, I'm a project manager, and by practice, I was also a project manager. I was a general manager for big companies in many countries, and now I'm a business owner. I founded Train Up Institute International, and I'm the managing director now. So I've been working now for the last 20 years, since 2003. Which is exactly 20 years this year. And I have a lot of experience in so many fields with so many countries. And I used to interview many people. I was also an employee with many companies. So I would like to share my career growth with you guys. And the title would be how to build your career. Most of my audience are not business owners. They are, employees who want to develop their professions and improve their career. So I have a lot of tips from my practical, experience on how to develop and boost your career. The first one is work for yourself, not for your boss. Many people would say, I'm working for MTN, for Airtel, I'm working for Train Up Institute, I'm working for this company or that boss, I work for that man or... No, you don't work for any company or for any boss. The attitude is very important. The attitude you bring to the job is very important. Your career is very important. If you're thinking that you're working for somebody or for a boss or for a company, that's wrong. You're working for yourself. And you're not working alone. Your family are also stakeholders in what you do. The community is also a stakeholder in what you do. So no one works for a certain person or for a certain company. Everyone, or with the right attitude, actually. With the right attitude, you're working for yourself, not for anyone else. The companies have owners, and they hire you, so you think that you're working for them. That's a very bad attitude. And if you think you're working for a boss, you would perform when you see the boss, or you would not when he's not, or when she's not around. No, that's a very poor attitude. And with this mentality, it's very, very difficult. It's going to be very difficult for you to grow professionally. So the first thing is work for yourself, not for a boss. The second tip that I'd like to give to you guys is that you should educate yourself. Continuous education is really important in order for one to grow professionally in your career. Why? Because largely what we study in universities is general knowledge, and it's not very specific. And with the knowledge that's with everyone, you cannot do anything, because companies hire you to give them specific knowledge. But if the knowledge that's in you is always available, then why would a company want to or is interested to hire you? There's no reason. Or how can you grow with the knowledge, with the skills that's in everyone's domain? That's impossible. So if you are to stand out from a crowd, you need to continuously educate yourself with courses that are extremely relevant to what you're doing. In that way, your employer would see special thing. You would be irreplaceable in the company. Yeah. When you become irreplaceable in a company, then you would grow quickly. So make yourself that you're educating or you're streamlining, honing your profession continuously. Educate yourself. Why? Because at a certain extent, we graduate from a university, we have a bachelor's or master's or a PhD for that matter. But after some years, every day this knowledge depreciates. Some of it gets downdated, some of it gets forgotten. So you would remain with very few knowledge in your head from your university education. And the book which calls Tiny Atomic Habits by James Clear would say, if you improve your life by 1% every day, you would be 37 times by the end of the year. And otherwise, if you don't improve yourself every day, you don't remain where you are. You would always continuously depreciate like a metal, a piece of metal that doesn't move, always rust and depreciate, and it becomes an ash or a sand after some years. You also, the person, would always depreciate. Your knowledge depreciates if you don't add on it. It doesn't stay where it is. It always depreciates by 1% every day, and by the end of the year, it's almost you don't have any knowledge you had previously. So make sure that you always educate. Continuous education is important. Continuous improvement is important if you're planning for career development. The third aspect is related with communication. Work on your communication skills. You know, in the working world, there are two skills. One is hard skill and the other soft skill. But hard skills are like technical skills. Your ability to design a house, your ability to manufacture parts, your ability to assemble spares, and so on. These are the technical parts, and you can learn them. These are called the hard skills. But the soft skills are actually the hard skills. Your ability to communicate and express yourself, your ability to articulate your ideas, your ability to express your dreams, your ability to, conflict resolution. These are really, really much more important because they deal on with our emotional capacity. And in a work, you bring two aspects: emotional skills and intellectual skills. Intellectual skills, what school teaches you. Emotional skills, what you are endowed with naturally and what you develop by yourself. Schools don't teach us communication skills. Okay, they may teach us, but they don't induce it in our subconscious mind. It's our part to induce communication skills in our subconscious mind. So it's really important to focus on the soft skills, but particularly, more importantly, on communication skills, because anything you do is technically easy, but socially difficult. Yeah, and why? Because the soft skills are the hard skills. So make sure that your communication skills always improves by the day, because largely people would upgrade professionally. I mean managerially, not technically. Okay, there is also technical promotions, but most of the big promotions are on managerial probations or managerial growth. So if you are to grow managerially, you need to have communication skill. Very, very important. Companies, people disagree or enter into conflict because of lack of communication, not because they have real dividing issues, but because of gap in communication or lack of communication. Then they go to conflict. There is no performance in conflict. Companies, always face, difficulties when people working in the company do not communicate well. The fourth very important tip is it's better to stick with the company that you work with if it is average. Yeah, I don't mean that you should work and die in one company, but it is not to your advantage to change from one company to another company. There was a friend of mine who was a very excellent guy technically, and he showed me his CV when he was planning to apply in many companies. And I advised him that his CV contains a lot of experience with so many companies. He saw it as an advantage, but I saw it as a disadvantage. And he was a bit confused when I saw this is not a good stuff. Then he didn't hear my advice. He went to a certain company, which was a potential employer. But the manager said, "Hey, but my friend, you are jumping from company to another company like a grasshopper. Means either you lack knowledge or you lack some soft skills. You're not productive in the company." Then he remembered me. So I advise you to stick with companies because you're already established there. It's better for you to improve and solve problems wherever you are. If it seems it's impossible, yes, you can change companies. But my message now is that if your CV shows that you work with so many companies in quite short number of years, that's a disadvantage. That's a liability to you. It's not an asset. It's not an advantage to you. Finally, if you are to develop professionally, or if you are to build your career, get your work done, most of it, 80% of your work before it's 10 a.m. Yeah, this is really the magic. If you are done with 80% of your work before it's 10 a.m., then you are safe. If you procrastinate and you say, okay, let me do it in the afternoon is the most ineffective hours to want to work. After lunch, there is inertia of the lunch. The body is already too tired, too occupied, and it's a time when you have many calls, many interruptions. It's a time when many guests would come. Maybe it's a time when the team is already down. So it's always good that you're an early bird. You could wake up early in the morning. Okay, your official working hours might start 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. depending on where you live. But it's always an advantage for you to work anywhere you are, at any time, but the morning hours is the golden hours. The hours before, particularly 10 a.m., are the golden hours. If you're done with most of your work, if you've completed 80% of your work before it's 10 a.m., you're in safe hands. You are in the safe direction. Otherwise, if you think the 8 hours working day, 50% of your work should be done in the morning, and the other 50, you're in the wrong directions. Be an early bird, accomplish most of your work before it's 10 a.m., you would see yourself developing in the organizational ladder, and you would be on the top in a very short period of time. Thank you very much.